Welcome back. You're watching the STV News at 1 all across Scotland. A reminder of today's main news headlines. Scottish and Welsh ministers will outline their concerns to peers on why they believe Brexit legislation needs to be amended. And the Unite Union is challenging INEOS on its refusal to give it official recognition. A national campaign has been launched to raise awareness of what it's like to be blind or partially sighted. The condition affects around 170,000 people in Scotland, and campaigners say it's much misunderstood. Well, in a moment we'll be speaking to James Adams, who is Deputy Director of RNIB Scotland. But first we hear how blindness has affected one South Lanarkshire woman.
It's like looking through a straw. I can see what I look directly at. So if I could read a text message, it doesn't affect my life that much, except probably getting about because I can't see. I've got like no peripheral vision or anything like that. I developed uveitis at 24 and it developed into panuveitis, which is sometimes it's at the front of your eye, sometimes it's at the back of your eye, sometimes it's in the middle of your eye. But I've got it in both eyes, in front, middle and back, which has blocked all the channels that the fluid flows in and out your eyes, causing secondary glaucoma, which has damaged my optic nerves. One of my eyes I can't see at all, another one. Somebody that's fully sighted can maybe see 180 degrees, whereas I can see below 5 degrees. Because I can see what I look directly at, mobile phones and Kindles, laptops are all fine. I do struggle with like subtitles on the television and things like that. I need pause the television to read my subtitles. The one that gets me the most is people say, you don't look blind. So they expect me to move out of their way quite a lot. Not everybody fits into the blind box. Like, people can see different things, they see differently. Everyone's got a different level of sight. Just because you're registered blind doesn't mean you can't see anything. It just means you don't have enough usable sight left to be classed as sighted.
Well, we are joined now by James Adams, who is the Deputy Director of RNIB Scotland. James, the How I See campaign, tell us a little bit about why you launched it. I think it's because blind and partially sighted people have said to us, the RNIB, that they do have a concern that perhaps the general public don't understand sight loss as well as they might be able to. There are over 200 eye conditions, and within that there's a very wide spectrum of different levels of sight loss. No two people have the same kind of sight loss, and every person's experience of their sight loss and their day-to-day life is very unique. So in their interactions with the public, what sort of encounters are they having that makes this campaign necessary? It can be very small things, just from perhaps somebody trying to cross a street. There's a lot of shared spaces cropping up in Scotland now, so often blind and partially sighted people find it difficult to get out and about. So perhaps people out in the street not understanding that somebody might have a visual impairment, and perhaps they're trying to need some support to go over a road. That's the kind of thing that perhaps blind and partially sighted people would look to. And of course there are assumptions that can be made about people with sight loss, and I suppose that the point of this is that it is a spectrum at the end of the day. How does one navigate that spectrum then in everyday life? Well, less than 10% of people who are blind have actually no functional vision. There's actually, the majority has to have different levels of sight, as Lorraine so eloquently put in the package there. I think the most important thing to remember is that it affects people's day-to-day life. So from socialising to going to the football, from making a dinner to using social media, everything is affected by people's sight loss. So it's a really key message for the general public just to think more about sight loss and also consider yourself, because anybody can be affected by sight loss, and in Scotland you can actually get a free eye health check if you go to the opticians. So as well as having people think about sight loss, we're very keen that individuals themselves make sure they go and get their eyes tested on a regular basis. And you mentioned a number of practical examples there that make it difficult for somebody with sight loss, but there's that emotional, I mean, if someone is progressively losing their sight, that can such a huge impact that can have on them. Yeah, it's a huge impact. People start to lose their sight, and people who may be in employment start to wonder about, can they keep their job? Will they be able to drive to work? Will they be able to access their computer and read their emails? Now, what people have to be aware is there's huge amounts of support out there from the likes of RNIB and other blind organisations, as well as indeed local authorities. But often people don't
think about that until such time as their sight is deteriorating so much that they feel very vulnerable and unable to carry on with basic day-to-day tasks.
And the website for someone who'd like to know more, James, is what?
It'd be rnib.org.uk.
Excellent. Well, James Adams, who is the Deputy Director of the RNIB, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.